Good day, sir. These are the things that I've learned from purposive communication. First one is purposive communication. From the word purpose, it is the intentional communication that happens within a specific context. Um, Communication, it is uh, an activity that is done by human beings to express or to inform. There are 8 elements of communication. First one is the sender. This is where the message comes from. Next is the receiver. The receiver, this is the person whom the message is delivered. Message, this is the information that is being traveled from um, sender to receiver. Next one is context. This is the meaning of the message. Next is the feedback. This is the reply or response or even reaction. Medium, this is the object or technology used to deliver the message. Next is channel. This is the language being used in the communication. And lastly, the noise which distracts, disturbs, or destroys the flow of communication. Physical or technological barrier. This happens when there is a malfunction first in communication equipment. Barrier of communication. There are 2 types of barriers in communication. The first one is the internal barrier, and the second one is the external barrier. Under the internal barrier, we have physical noise. It pertains to the structure or arrangement of things in a venue or the behavior of the other persons. Next one is physiological barrier. Avoid tactless remarks about the person's disability, like blindness, disease, deafness, etc. Next is physical or technological barrier. This happens when there is a malfunction first in communication equipment. You should also dress up appropriately um, according to the next is environmental or natural barrier. This happens when the weather interferes with the communication. For example, the venue is an open space, then it started to rain. Next one is cultural barriers. Of course, we have different types of cultures and beliefs, so we should learn to respect someone else or others' culture, even though it might be different from what we're used to. Lexical or linguistic barriers. This is the medium of the communication. It pertains to the language that's being used in the communication. For example, when the communicator communicates with um, uh, a an English speaking man or who knows English language, but the communicator doesn't know how to speak in English, so it affects the communication. Next is a psychological barrier. This barrier is when the emotion or the state of the communicator doesn't really match the event or occasion that is happening within the communication. And lastly, the noise which distracts, disturbs, or destroys the flow of communication. Under the internal barrier, we have physical noise. It pertains to the structure or arrangement of things in a venue or the behavior of the other persons. Purposes of communication. First one inner thoughts and feelings. Second one is information. People communicate in order to understand or explain something within our knowledge. Next one is interaction. We communicate to socialize with other people. Um, Next is integration. This is when an individual um, goes to a new place to communicate in order to belong and not be isolated. This one is for development. We communicate in order um, to transform or innovate our quality of life. Next is motivation and inspiration. This could happen within ourselves or with other people. We can motivate and inspire others by communicating with them. And lastly, relationship. We communicate with other people to build a relationship with them. The third topic is the process of news writing. There are tools and techniques of narration. The first one is in chronological order, or the orders when the events occur, allowing the readers to follow the progression naturally. Next is point of view. It uses perspective from which the story is told. The third one is the descriptive language. We use vivid descriptions to paint a picture of the settings for um, the writer to help the reader to um, imagine the story. Next is characterizations. Narratives often revolve around the characters, whose actions and motivations drive the story. Next is conflict and resolution. Conflict is essential to create tension in a narrative story. Next is dialogue. This allows the characters to communicate or interact, and it brings the story to life. And that's all for my recorded recitation. Thank you for watching.